Welcome back to BFF, Books, Fix, and Friendship, where chaos leads, plot twists follow. I'm Cal,
I'm Meg.
I'm Kiera.
and today we're going to be talking about Crown of Midnight. I couldn't think of that word. The first 26 chapters, so there will be spoilers.
I keep wanting to say Throne of
Listen,
Glass because
guys.
I refer to it as the Throne of
I
Glass
know.
for some reason.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it is.
All right.
I was just gonna say,
Look
I
at
do have like a lot of
all
questions
my
for you guys
tabs.
this time, because I feel like I can
Okay.
finally ask questions that aren't like leading.
I don't have very
So.
many. I'm shocked at how many tabs I have.
Oh, where's
I
my
have
actual
so
book?
many.
Oh,
I was gonna say, I feel like
So many.
I'm not far off from you.
let's see.
Okay, but you don't count because you've read the whole book already.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I will say that I know something that I've brought up to Kiera, and it's gotten mentioned, so, like in this, and so I did like highlight things around that because I kind of know that it will be important.
See,
but I
I
don't want to talk
also-
about them because you don't know it yet.
Yeah. I think I might be on the same page, but we'll get there later. Like, we won't talk about it now. Let's get a little bit further, and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah. We'll talk about it
Um,
later.
But, we've talked about, like, the Crescent City Akatar stuff, so, like, I'm
Yeah.
starting to really, like, with a lot more of the Fae mention and stuff, I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
other world? What? Other continent?
The mention of other continents, yeah, and like specifically the Fae moving to another continent. I was like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
The iron.
Yes. Yep.
Immediately, I was like,
Yep.
okay, Sarah.
Yep.
Okay, Sarah. Okay,
Yeah,
Sarah.
exactly. Okay, so
Now, Kira's just
Kiara,
like,
you want to
okay,
lead
now
off
there's
with
some
your
stuff I can kinda talk with.
questions?
Okay.
Okay, wait, no, hold on. I have to yell at her first. I have to yell at you first because I didn't get to do this earlier because we had to help you with your technical difficulties.
Oh.
How dare you make us stop on chapter 26? How
It
dare
was
you?
between that or
I
the
told
next
Meg
chapter, which felt
earlier.
worse. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. It was tough trying to decide where to leave off. But
Okay,
I felt
we'll
like
see.
if we kept on from there, it would have been like,
We'll just read the whole book.
yeah, like it would have
Like,
been
we
way
just
too
gotta
much to
read it all.
discuss. Yeah.
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 Okay.
Okay. First of all, I was curious about you guys' thoughts on Roland.
I don't like him.
He's shady and I don't like him.
I don't like him.
Don't like him.
My brain keeps autocorrecting when I'm reading it to Ronald in my head over and over again.
That's perfect. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then you have to yell at your brain because you're like, no, we don't like him.
Let's see. I have a bunch of little points in here, and then I have like questions too. And then, what did you guys think of Mort?
I love
It's
him.
cute.
He
I love
reminds me.
him.
He reminds me of the keyhole in Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
For some reason, like that's kind of how I pictured him, and I'm just like, oh, I love him. He's so sassy.
Yeah.
Yes.
The sass.
So like we know magic is gone. What do you guys think happened to the magic?
Okay, my theory currently is that the king has been using these like word marks or something along those lines to like eradicate it in a way because it talks about like kind of it fleeing and that it's only this specific kind of magic that's gone and that like nobody knows why it left, but also like that it hasn't been in the line for like generations, right?
Right.
So I'm thinking like in some ways it is like very selective in like who it chooses to manifest through, but also like I do think that the king has been doing some shady stuff to get rid of it because they talked about like when he conquered Terrasen, It talked about like how strong that line was and how much magic was like within that line, and if there was opportunity that Terrasen would have like taken over the other realms, like
Right.
if they needed to warrant an attack, and that he came like overnight and like demolished them, right? And so that to me is like there's some other stuff at play there. It's not just that you surprised them and they didn't have a chance to like fight back. There's something that you did to like make that happen type thing.
Right.
I
And
could be
it's
totally wrong.
and it's also like Nehemia said, like people keep going out, like scouts keep going out and they keep not coming back. They keep going to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
they keep not coming back. Why?
yeah.
That's like I think that's like one of my biggest questions, like what is going on? Because it's like was said, it's the new magic that's gone, not the old magic like what's in Mort.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Um,
except for obviously the little couple of outbursts we saw,
yeah.
which is kind of actually how I picture whenever they talk about like in Harry Potter, like when kids get their magic and like they can't
Yeah.
control it. That's kind of like what my head thought of. I just kind of pictured Harry as a little, not quite 11-year-old kid making the glass disappear.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dorian's going through it. He's losing his mind right now.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know, and I
Yes.
He
just
had
want
like
to hug him.
three different instances, like one where he like woke up from that weird dream and there was like
Yes.
And he was
frost
Yeah.
on the
cold.
couch. And then
I
when
made
like the
mention
glass
of that.
shattered and then again in the
Yeah.
library with like the
Library.
books all flying off the shelves. Yeah.
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 Ooh, I
Nice.
did want to mention something just because I literally just saw it as I was flipping through here. Hold on. I
And
don't know if either of you have ever read The Little Prince.
It's been a really long
I
time.
actually haven't.
Okay. So the quote in here, she says it's like only with the eyes that one sees rightly. I think that's what she
Oh yeah,
says.
in the book that she finds.
And it's a riff off of The Little Prince, because a quote in The Little Prince is, it's actually kind of like the opposite. It's with the heart one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. And so I'm like, I tagged that because I'm like, I wonder if that's like gonna come more into play, and like
Yeah.
she's interpreting it a little bit incorrectly because she's like taking it very literally right now, right? Like,
She's a very literal
so
person though. Like things are very black and white for Celaena.
she
But they've had
is,
to
but
been, you know what I mean? Like her life has always been black and
yeah,
white since, her kingdom was destroyed.
yeah. And we learn more about like the
Sam.
betrayal and Sam and ugh,
Wesley, that shocked me. Like my mouth was
I
like on
know.
ground. It was like if my jaw could have come off the hinges reading
Yeah.
that scene and
There's so many sad moments where I'm like, let me fix you, please.
just let me hug you. Not gonna lie, I want
Yes.
some chocolate cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another question I had, I don't know, let's see. There's so many different things that I want to like also just bring up too. So like on the Dorian thing, did you guys catch what Nehemia said to him whenever she like pulled him aside?
Yeah, that she would like help him
Oh,
when the
you
time
have magic
comes.
and
Is
or
that
you have power in here or something like that.
Yeah.
yeah, more power
Yeah.
in you than you
Yeah.
think.
Then you think
And like
whenever you're
and like
ready.
when the time comes,
Yeah.
yeah, that
I
she would
did see
help
that.
him.
I was like,
Because then
I
he goes
didn't
looking for
know.
her.
And then finds Celaena coming back from Kale's with the cake.
Yeah. Yep, because he's looking for her and then like he can't find her anywhere. Um yeah.
Um,
Also, I noted that he, like, when it's talking about his magic, it's, like, always cold, right? So he woke up from that nap and it was like he saw
Cold.
the frost around him. And then when he shatters the window, it says only that he felt freezing cold, a cold that fueled the calm, glittering rage. And there's one other point where
In the
it like mentions
library,
that.
because he
Yeah,
was thinking about Kale and Celaena.
and then when Celaena is um thinking about the anniversary of her parents' death, and like she's thinking about the experience at in Dovier, she says she woke up with a like cold rage within her, and so then I like noted those as like ooh ooh ooh. I see
Cold,
what you're doing, Sarah. I see what
cold,
you're doing,
cold.
Sarah.
Okay, cool. Let's find all of these instances. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
really cool finding the little things, but like not having those be super big things. You know what I mean? Like they are
yeah,
super big
yeah,
things, like in the culmination of everything, but it's just like right now they're still just like really little things. There's still so
yeah.
much more that's happening around it.
Yeah, it just like stood out to me because like of the way that she described it, right? And like you see Dorian and every time he's dealing with magic, you see that it like has this and then you see her talking about it and you're like, "Hmm. Hmm. I wonder."
A couple things that like made me really sad were like when it mentioned that it was so easy for her to find these bodies to like fake the death because
Oh
all the
yeah.
healers are gone now,
Yes,
so
I
people are
actually
just
noted that down because it's
yeah,
like, why would I like I understand like the king obviously has like a power complex, he has a god complex, and he's just kind of like an all around um I'm just gonna say asshole because that's probably the nicest, meanest thing I can say
yeah,
about this
Yeah.
man. But like what king would let that many people, like once curable illnesses, like why? You can
yeah,
regulate
Yeah.
that stuff. Like you could have regulated it. You didn't have to completely destroy it.
yeah.
Like, why?
Ugh.
And also Raina Goldstein at the
Oh
end
my
of chapter
God.
Yes.
15.
Oh my
Man.
That
God.
like
But like
actually made me tear
so
up all over
much.
again.
I teared up and I wanted to cry so much more reading these
Yeah.
first 26 chapters because you do get a lot of backstory. You get a lot of backstory about Sam and you get a little bit more about her
Yes.
parents and stuff like that. And then like that whole moment with Kale and Nehemia, whenever Nehemia was like, today is, the
The
anniversary
10
of her
year
parents. And he was
anniversary.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh my
Yeah, we
God.
also get a lot of background on Kale too. Like you kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
learn some of the stuff that he went through, and
I did
um, uh,
something I noted this time around was that he has the tapestry of his hometown, Anio, like in his
Yeah.
yeah,
room, and I feel like
I
that
thought
just
that was
like
sweet.
yeah, it's I don't know, it's so complex because like his dad's a dick,
But
and
his mom is
yeah,
amazing and like he
yeah,
loves his family.
yeah,
They just don't
yeah.
like him. Or his
yeah,
dad doesn't like him,
There's
so by
this,
default, the rest of them don't like him.
there's a spot, and I can't remember what chapter it's in now, but I know it's like towards the end, because it's like another part that makes me sad. Because Nehemia is talking to Celaena about her possibly going back to
Yeah,
Isleway,
that's 24.
and oh, yeah, okay. I knew it was like one of the last couple chapters. But so she's talking to Selena
I
about
think.
possibly going back to Isleway and like what she needs to do and stuff like that. And then she wants Selena to like help with the revolution and kind of like going
Yeah, it
against the
is.
king.
Yeah.
And Selena is like, no, you'll die, right? Like, um, he like obliterated Terrason. Like, you don't stand a chance, and I'm not gonna do this. And like,
yeah,
um, one that's like just really sad because she one lived through that, and then two, there's like a quote that she says where oh here it is. Um, there is no hope. There is no hope in standing against him. Not now, not ever. And I will not be a part of whatever plan you have. I will not help you get yourself killed and bring down even more innocent people in the process. And
Yeah.
then Nehemia says, you'll not help because all you care about is yourself. And Celaena says, and so what if I do? So what if I want to spend the rest of my life in peace? And then, there's never any peace, not while he reigns. And part of that is, like, Celaena's been fighting literally her whole life, right? Like,
Or
and
at least the
so,
last 10 years. Like, we don't know about her life prior to Terrasen being taken over, but, like, the majority of her life.
but that's a majority of her life,
Yeah.
right? She's only 18, so that's
so crazy.
more than half. That's more than half of her life, and she was also imprisoned for a year of that time frame. So, she
all of
just
her formative years.
she wants a break, and I don't think you can blame her for that, right? Like, you're not, but also, like,
You can't blame her for
kind of
caring
to,
about
like,
her friends because she straight up was like, "You're gonna die."
yeah, but also
You're
to
not gonna do
Nehemia's point, Nehemia's like, I can't sit here in peace and know that, like, 500 slaves were slaughtered,
For no
right? And,
reason.
like, that it's only getting worse, and I can't sit here and be at peace knowing that people are dying like that,
no reason.
And
Something I
so,
didn't pick up on in my first couple reads that just stuck out to me this time was the scene with Dorian at the meeting, and they mentioned, like, there's a surplus of slaves. They don't even need them.
Yes.
They don't even know what to do with them. And he's like, then let them go, like...
They can't
But-
all be
and-
criminals.
Yeah. And then he stands up to his
I'm-
dad and is like, why don't you go spend a year in a slave, And I was like, Dorian.
yeah, I marked that. I marked that as, like, really important character development because that's the first time that we're seeing Dorian stand up against his father
With that
and
much
formulate his
strength.
own opinion.
With that much,
and then,
I will say, because he did
Yeah.
do it in Throne of Glass, but he was still real.
but he was really hesitant, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's another part where he says, it's like after Roland comes and talks with him after, but it's, like, really important. Hold on.
Oh no, I know what you're talking about. I just don't like Roland.
Yeah.
It's like last
But,
book
like,
where
he-
everything was Duke Parrington, Caltaine,
yeah. But basically he says, like, that if his father and Duke Parrington want Roland to be, like, a pawn to convince Dorian to, like, vote one way or another, that he'll, like, flip it on their head and he can play the game as well, and that, like, he'll basically do it better or something like that. And
He's leaning into
I,
that
like-
part of it.
yeah, I marked that because I was like, ooh, that's, like, really important for him because this is the first time that he's, like, really trying to make a difference, right? Before, I think he was like, oh, I can't do anything. Like, my father's in charge. He's a tyrant. Like,
Well,
and
that,
now
and he
he's kind of,
also
like, really
didn't have
owning.
these connections either. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't know these people. He's gotten to know Celaena
Yeah.
on a deeper level. He's gotten to know Nehemia on a different level. Nehemia was always just kind of a political thing, and, like, same for Celaena. She was just a slave, And then over time, he got to
Yeah.
know her and realized, oh wait, she's a fucking person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he got to see the effect of, another person in power. Like, I mean, Nehemia is a princess, she's the princess of Elway. And so, like, seeing how she reacted to the news of her people kind of gave him a different thing. One thing I did note that was important, speaking of Dorian and realizing things, he was talking, it was when Roland said something about family, and family said, like, Dorian was like, it said something like he didn't think family would act like this because it was after the magic thing had happened, and he was thinking about how his father had another heir. Family shouldn't think
Yeah.
like that. That's not how you should think whenever you think of your family,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And I was like, oh God. So he's really, like, kind of at a divide right now. And it was like such a like swift switch for him that it's almost like whiplash.
Yeah. I think, we're really starting his growth journey in this
It makes
one.
me happy because I do love Dorian.
Because, like, he even mentions... Oh, sorry. He
ahead.
mentions letting go of Celaena. And, like, letting that relationship with Kale and her kind of blossom. And like,
Treat her well.
there's a quote
I
that,
love that line.
yeah, there's a quote that Nehemia gives to them when they're dancing
Oh, yeah.
outside, and he comes up to the window, and she says, "You and I, we will always stand apart. We will always have responsibilities. We will always have burdens that no one else can ever understand, that they will never understand. And if they did, then they would not want them." And then he says, "They would not want us," is what you mean. Like, that's what he thinks. And that was just like a, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
poor babies.
I just want to hug them and love them all.
I know.
I love that scene of Kale and her dancing outside together. I remember the first time I read that.
Loved
It's like,
it.
I just remember,
It's
like,
I
so
was
cute.
so happy because it's such a stark
and-
contrast to the Yulmus from
yeah.
Yes.
She even points
yeah.
that out, and I loved that.
The other thing that's like such a stark contrast from the last book is at the end when they decide to like be together, and she asks him like how much trouble he'll get into, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know," and then she volunteers to like keep it a secret. And he says like something along the lines of like, "I want to be clear that I don't want to keep it a secret because I'm like ashamed of you," or anything like that. And it was just
I'm getting
such a
emotional
stark
thinking about it.
contrast. I know, but it's such a stark contrast from when her and Dorian at the end of Throne of Glass were talking about that, and he was like, "Oh, we'll have to keep it a secret," and she's like, "I don't
don't
want
want
you
it
to
to be a
presume
secret."
that." Yeah, like, but like Kale didn't ask, and like she's the one that gave that option. You know what I mean? But yeah,
That
I
took
really
me back
liked
to it.
that.
That actually, you saying that kind of took me back because, like, she basically made that choice. She offered that choice up, and it took me back to when Archer said it's different when it's my choice.
Yes, yeah,
Which I feel for
yes,
that boy. We haven't
yes.
talked about Archer yet.
Yeah.
Ugh, I know. I hope everything's okay with him. I don't want him to die.
I know.
I like him.
I do too, but
But
like, I'm not very happy with him right now, to be fair. He did warn people. He did say something. So now they're all gone.
yeah. I like the little banter that she has with Kale, and that's been like their relationship the whole time, right? But like in that same moment where he says like, "I don't want you to think I'm agreeing to keep it a secret because I'm ashamed in any way." And she's like, "Who said anything about shame? Honestly, I'm surprised you're not strutting about, boasting to everyone. I certainly would be if I'd tumbled me."
Yeah.
Like, that's such a funny little
Yeah.
thing. And I loved that her and Nehemia were like talking about them hooking up in the broom closet.
I was like,
I
oh my
love
god,
how
are we
he's
pausing
like,
it for
love
2
for
seconds?
yourself knows no bounds.
I know.
love
I
it.
just love. I love their banter. I think it's fun, and like they like rib each other, but like in a really good way, and like they do really care about each other, and you see that based on like the birthday dinner that she puts together for him, and like
Yes.
how much she cares about him, and like has noticed things about him, and like
What got me
chapter 23, my
What-
favorite.
What got me was she opened up to him about Sam so much more than she did with Dorian,
Yeah.
and he opened up to her about why he didn't like Roland. Like he could have said something stupid and trivial and testosterone driven, but he didn't. It was like, oh my gosh.
But I think that comes with like you're seeing the kind of like maturity that's in Kale, because he is 22 and like a little bit older than them, and so like he's just, I don't know, this like very kind of stoic and rigid kind of person, and I think we see a lot of the reasoning behind that, like around his like strict loyalty to the king and like to his honor and stuff like that, because it really does amount to the fact like if he doesn't have this, if he isn't loyal to his king, and if he isn't like serving in that position, then he really gave up everything for nothing, right? Like And I think that's such a motivating factor for him. And I think he like internalized that a lot. Um, the only issue I have with Kale is like he puts that loyalty over things that like he knows isn't right, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like he gets the order from the
Blind
king and
faith. Yeah.
he's like, huh, I don't know, this does seem a little weird, but he's my king and he asked me to do it and I like made a vow to serve him, so I have to, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, but do you though? Do you actually? Come on. So I don't know about that.
So another train of thought that I was. So she goes and visits Caltaine. And,
Oh my God.
yeah.
I
So
want to wrap her in a warm blanket. Like, I still don't like her. I still don't trust her. But it's obvious she was a pawn.
yeah,
Obviously. And
Yeah.
just,
I feel so bad for her.
oh my God.
I don't feel like this is super leading if I like mention it or anything, but did you guys notice all of the like wing flapping
Yes.
comments across?
Yes.
We got it from Caltaine, Bab
Yes.
Yellowlegs, and Nehemia. And I was
Yes.
curious
Yeah.
what you guys,
Well,
if
and
you
the
guys have any
wings
like
flapping
thoughts.
for Caltaine, it was normal because, like, for me, because she had already talked about it. And then with Nehemia, we got it too in the first book with the duel. Like, whenever she was dueling
Yeah.
Cain, because she said that she would hear them, and then she said she saw them. So, like, that. And then I was kind of iffy, but I know Sarah doesn't do anything unintentionally. So, like, I did. But, like, I don't know what it could be though. Like that's my thing. I'm just like, what is it referencing? Like, is it still referencing like that other world, like
I
that
think
Elena's in,
so.
kind of thing, or something, or like
I
it's, I
think
don't know.
I
I don't
think
know.
it's like some sort of creature or I don't know, something that like whatever the king is doing in those like trips and that the people aren't coming back for and stuff like that, like that these creatures are kind of I don't know, coming into the fray more and stuff because like
Yeah,
especially with Caltaine, you know that they were doing some sort of ritual on her for like mind control, right? So like the
yeah,
idea was that it was Caltaine was the mind and Cain was the
it's the body.
body, right? So and this is like why she's having those headaches and stuff like that. And so I think like they're doing more and more experiments and whatever they're experimenting with is what is you know like the flapping type
Yeah,
thing and then there is that like weird suspicious creature. There's two. There's the one that she sees outside of the library that's like
yeah.
hooded
And then in the
and
door, at the door.
and then under the door, yeah. So I don't know. I'm thinking that there's something there from like these other worlds, these other, you know, like through the gates, and that whatever the king is messing with is like attracting them or bringing them to him, and like I don't know. I don't fully know, but there's definitely something
All of this
little
ties back to the king,
suspicious.
ultimately. Like, I
Yeah.
figured that much out. Like, whatever is happening does have something to do with him. Like, he obviously knows about word marks. The book that she found that you were talking about earlier that had that little
Yes.
riddle in it, that's interesting. And I'm just as confused as she was when she
Yeah.
found it. Like,
Yeah.
why does this person have this book? Why is this the
Yeah.
only thing in English? Why is it all covered in this? And then to go, one thing that I really did love was like how she semi stopped lying to Nehemia and
I
like
like
took
that
her
she
to the
came clean to
tomb.
both Nehemia and Kale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved Kale's reaction though. Have you gone mad?
I know.
Valid reaction though, like completely valid reaction.
I remember
Yeah.
the first time I read that being like, what are you doing on his birthday? Like, you're ruining everything. But then he flipped the script and was like, I'll go with you. You know, like, we'll
I know.
go,
We'll
you
find
know.
that
It was
place.
like,
Together.
Oh,
Which just takes me back
that's
to
my
this whole
favorite.
thing, like back to the ball thing, because I actually found what I wanted to talk about. Um, there was a part, because it's been said, like, up until, like, that point, like, he's been towing a line. Like, there's a line that he can't stop towing, and he just can't stay away from it. And then, like, right after it, it says it was like he'd found a part of him he hadn't even realized was missing. And then, like, right on the next page, like, or 2 pages later, or the next page, he says things are different now whenever she brings up Yulmus. And then at the end of that little section before the Dorian scene starts, it says the rest of the world quieted into nothing. In that moment, after 10 long years, Celaena looked at Kale and realized she was home.
I
yeah.
know. Oh, I
So
loved that.
part of me is thinking that, like, because Celaena is starting to get, like, more of a sense, like a sixth sense type of thing, like reading people. Like, she's always been good at reading people, but, like, she's listening to stuff about her life a little bit more, I think. So I think she's picking up on, like, feelings that she hasn't had, obviously, in a very long time, because Sam, for one, but, like,
Yeah.
it's like whenever they met, oh, what's her face? Yellow Legs.
Oh, Baba Yellow Legs,
Yeah, I
yeah.
couldn't remember the first one, so I just went with Yellow Legs. She just kind of got that unnerving feeling kind of thing. And, like, yeah, with that one, the amulet kind of warned her. But I think since she's not fighting for her life, she's starting to pick up on different social cues. And I think and it was mentioned in the first book that there was some type of, like, thread between her and Kale.
Yes.
So I definitely think that there is some kind of link between her and Kale. That's important.
Yeah, he mentions it. He calls it a chain or something between them
Is
in
it in
this
this? Is
one.
it this one? I don't know.
It's in this one. I don't know. I don't know
I
what
don't know
chapter it's in
specifically.
because
I don't know
One of
I
my
know that he
favorite
mentioned
lines
it.
from the little dancing scene was where she says, "We'll never be a normal boy
normal
and
boy or
girl, will
girl.
we?" And he's like, "No, we won't."
Yeah.
And then right after that, the letting go line with,
Dorian and Nehemia.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which was really, really sad because I do love Dorian, but I do see Nehemia's point of view on it. Like, especially right now. Like,
That line.
I don't know. Just all of the dialogue in this was so well written.
I also, this is just so all over the place, but back to the, like, Raina Goldsmith scene, I loved her sitting there, like, naming everything. You know, my daughter was 16 and you burned her. My sister was
Love that.
36. It was just, like, so
Yeah.
powerful.
Her two boys were her
Love
joy.
it so
My
much.
neighbors were 70. Their names were, I
Yeah.
can't remember the names off the top of my head, but they were killed because they tried
Yeah.
to protect my daughter from you. And, like, the fact that she just did not stop or back down.
I liked that she said like she'd been waiting 10 years to be
Yeah.
famous enough to get the invitation in order to do this. Like that just
Yeah.
shows one like that there are people who have been resisting from like day one of him taking over and
Yep.
stuff and that that they're still dedicated to that, right? And like yeah.
We
I'm
did
not going to be
also
able
I
to find
some
it right now.
I really
witch
do
lore.
think that that was also kind of what kind of put the little worm in Dorian's head a little bit because it wasn't until after that really that he started like really like thinking about things. And I think
Yeah.
wasn't the nightmare after that? After he doesn't know about Raina because it was Roland and Parrington that were with
His
him, I think.
secret guards, yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
don't think the nightmare had happened yet. I think all the magic
um
stuff happened after he heard those songs.
Well, it says something like that something inside of him opened an eye.
Yeah, that's I think that's
that was whenever,
But I thought that was after a conversation with Nehemia, not
yeah.
the song.
Yeah.
Because that was the conversation about her saying that you're much more powerful than you think and when the time comes, I will help you.
Yeah.
And then it says, like, something within him, after those words, something within him opened an eye. Oh, the point where Dorian is, like, letting go of Celaena, it says, she had never looked at him like that, not once, not even for a heartbeat. He would move on because he would not be like the ancient kings in the song and keep her for himself. She deserved a loyal, brave knight who saw her for what she was and did not fear her. And he deserved someone who would look at him like that, even if the love wouldn't be the same, even if the girl wouldn't be her. So Dorian closed his eyes and took another long breath, and when he opened his eyes, he let her go. So that was during the song. And then...
I do love that Kale was killing all the Lord's game for them because he hated going hunting.
Yeah.
And then the king was like, what are they going to do without you? Oh, wait, maybe I wasn't as discreet. Yeah, so let's see. So 22 is when Dorian is in the library.
Oh, okay. So that conversation with Nehemia happens after the song. Because it happens in chapter 17.
And the song is chapter
Yeah.
15.
15. So it happens in 17 because that's when she has the... we have responsibilities, and then she says, you have power in you, Prince, more than you realize. It sleeps, she whispered, tapping on his heart, in here. When the time comes, when it awakens, do not be afraid. When it is time, I will help you.
Yeah.
And then after that, it says, and why, when she had said them, something ancient and slumbering deep inside of him had opened an eye.
Yeah, so I think it was a mixture of both, but I think really hearing the stories, because, you know, he's only ever really heard them from, like, at this point, his dad's point of view. You know what I mean? So hearing about all of this stuff, like, flourishing and, like, the happiness and the joy and the love and the good side of it, right? The side that he doesn't really get to hear anymore. And then Nehemia being like, hey, you have more. And he's just like, because like the
dream happens first, right?
The dream is the first thing that happens.
Yeah.
I just don't know where.
Okay. I know. Well, because I just found him punching the wall.
And that's right after...
In 18. That's in 18.
Which is after the song and the conversation. So then, yeah, the dream does happen first.
Yeah, so it's not 16. It's not 16. 'Cause
let's see, they're at the carnival. Okay, it was 13, I think. No, it's 14. Oh. It's toward the end of 14. It's after Celaena picks up the torch because she's in that secret hidden library room.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Dorian.
Yeah.
The sound of a clock chiming. And...
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it does happen before the songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That means something in him was already breaking down.
What did you guys make of chapter 25? What was your interpretation of that?
Okay, so I think it's like, Celaena and Nehemia talking.
Just because of the wordage that she used. Like, she said the queen and the princess.
Yeah, the queen to the princess.
But now that I'm thinking about it, it could also be Georgina. Because Georgina is such a small player that we haven't really met yet outside of her courtly duties, right? Like her courtly wife. Like, she does all the fun stuff. She throws all the parties. She does all the things. And those are typically the more dangerous ones. It kind of
Well,
makes me
it
think of
does say.
Cersei from Game of Thrones in a way, because like we get to see when we watch it, like obviously like the bad side of Cersei, right? But
Yeah.
Yeah.
most people think
It
that it's her
does.
dad doing everything.
It does say the ancient queen, and she is in the tomb. So I do think it's Elena, and then Nehemia,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking that because we see Celaena talk about like that cold, hopeless rage, and like we've seen Dorian associate the cold with like his magic. I'm wondering if they have to push her in order to like um, unleash her magic. Like I'm wondering if that word that's on her forehead is like containing it for her in some way, and that like they have to push her to a point where like it breaks free type thing.
Which I think you said last
Um,
episode too, like after we hit that part where that came up on her forehead, you were wondering if it was maybe some
I
type of
think,
containment because we were talking about her memories,
yeah, I was thinking that it was like basically kind of
which
like
would still
warding off some
work.
memories, which it could still be doing that, and like that those memories are specifically like related to her magic and like her using, because there's been mentions of her having magic or like descending from magic type things, because in the beginning of Throne of Glass, when they're coming back from Endovier, there's those like little footprints, and she has the flowers, and like
That weren't there
she
before.
kind of, yeah, she kind of like makes mentions to that stuff. So and she makes mentions about like witches and like being around them, and like kind of that training and
Yeah.
stuff
I
like
I wanted to
early,
mention
yeah.
that we did get witch lore.
Mm-hmm.
Um
The
Yes.
Valg. I
so
thought that was so interesting. That was new to me, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um there were like two different spots where there was like some witch lore. Just trying to find the first one. Because I literally wrote witch lore beside it. Dang it. Oh, here we go. Dorian had heard the legends of the fallen witch kingdom where bloodthirsty
Bloodthirsty.
bloodthirsty witches had overthrown the peaceful Croatian dynasty and ripped apart the kingdom stone by stone. So basically, there were a few different clans of witches, and the Iron Teeth
Which is what Yellow Legs is.
destroyed all of the Croatian
yeah.
witches, and that just, yeah,
It
good to
was it
get
was
down now before things develop.
really, really
And
interesting to
The
learn about that though, because you know, we did hear a lot about the witches and we've heard a lot about like the witch mountains and stuff like that.
Yeah, the
and
other
they
quote around this that like leads me back to the king doing some shady shit is when Baba Yellowlegs and Dorian are talking, and he's asking her the questions. She says, "The gods that cursed these lands 10 years ago damned the witches centuries before that." So I'm like,
yeah, and then she also explains that they like weren't just like witches weren't originally a thing. They descended from either
from,
Fae or
yeah, the
And
Val.
Fae
demons.
or the Valg, yeah.
Yeah,
So that's like a whole new branch of things to add in.
yeah.
Like two new branches technically.
And then also I wanted
Yeah.
to draw like I'd never thought of it this way until like reading fan fiction and like seeing this whole other side of Dumbledore that people like have brought to my attention, about like, and I was
Yeah.
like,
Invictus.
well, I just can't stop comparing Elena to Dumbledore in my head right now. She's
Oh,
like
yeah,
these vague
like kind of being the
clues.
chess, yeah, the chess
Yeah.
master, where she's like
Yeah.
moving everybody around, but like
She's
not
like,
telling them
you have
why.
to do it, and I'm gonna give you these vague things, and like, Celaena's
Yeah.
like, why can't she just tell me what the freaking thing means? Like, what do you?
Like Mort says,
Yeah.
you have to ask the proper question. I've asked you dozens of questions, but not the right one.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But that means that she's not thinking about it the way she needs to think about it.
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool. I think that's a
Also,
really cool way to show like how her thought process changes too.
yeah. Also, I mean, it's like for character growth, right? Because
Yeah.
like she has to go through like finding this and everything and like
Yeah.
figuring out kind of what everything's going on and stuff like that. So I get it, but also at the same time, I'd be like, just tell me what the fuck to do, girl.
Yeah.
But then you would be told and you'd be like, "Oh crap, I can't do that right now." Like, what do
Yeah,
you mean?
yeah,
Then it would open up a whole other can of worms of like, "No, I can't do that." Kind of like with Nehemia
yeah,
being like, "You could do this, you could do that." No. We'll die. No.
yeah, yeah.
And then the last question I had written down was, what do you guys think was down there under the library?
I
What was
don't
up with
know.
that?
A Valg. I'm gonna go with a Valg. Just because they
I
got
don't
named.
know.
Just because they got named. So like, I'm not gonna say that all Valg are inherently evil, quote unquote. Because if you really want to look at like religions and stuff, not all demons are really quote unquote evil.
Mm-hmm.
So let's not broach too far into that topic, but like it wouldn't surprise me if there weren't some inherently evil, but like made bad choices and kind of got
Yeah,
cast out, kind of like a parallel to some of the slaves in some of the mines and camps and stuff that they've talked about. Like, no, like some of the people from Elway are in Endovir, or how do you say the other one, Kiera?
Calcula?
Calcula. Oh, that's not how I say
One of the,
it.
however you say it, the other one that Dorian stands up to his dad with. Um, Most of
So
them
you
there
think
are
it's
just
a sad
there.
little Valg who doesn't deserve to be down there?
I'm not
Is that
gonna
what you're
say a
thinking?
sad little Valg. I'm not gonna say sad little like didn't do anything wrong, but like poor choices. Like in the
Okay.
event of whatever's going on, like the Elway rebels, they're not really bad people, but given the
Yeah.
fact that they're under this particular reign of this king,
Mm-hmm.
they're making a poor choice by actively choosing to go against him. But morally, they're
Yeah,
making the right choice in a way, right? They're making the right choice for them.
yeah.
So I'm not
What
gonna
I will
say like
say,
sad don't deserve it because like okay you're still going against your king, like I don't personally think you deserve to be in a mine, but like there are rules and you're breaking them, so like if this is what the person who sets the rules says, then I don't know what to do for you right now because my hands are tied just like
mm-hmm.
yours. um it's just I think it's just kind of one of those situations where it's just like they maybe deserve to be there but not really in like a morally gray
Yeah,
way. You know what I mean? Like think of our morally gray Hermione and morally gray Dracos. We still love
yeah,
them. Like girl, you fucked up. Boy, you fucked up. Like I get it, but you
yeah,
still fucked up. Like whenever they miscommunicate or Hermione does something stupid and Draco gets mad at her and leaves, or Draco does something stupid and Hermione gets mad and leaves. Like you deserve it. You fucked up. You made a bad choice.
yeah. I think I don't know that it's necessarily anything that's been like named so far. Like I think that we'll find out
That's
the name
valid.
of it, but I do think that it's like magical and that it's been there longer than the current king has been ruling because she made a mention of like there being so much stuff and like so much decoration down there of like the Fae
Yeah.
that she doesn't think like anyone has known about it for a while because if they had at least during this king's reign like it would definitely be defaced and like it wouldn't be still standing the way that it is now. So I think it's something that the king doesn't even really know about is there. um and then because it is such a big iron door, I think that it does have like a lot of inherent magic in it. And that it's something that like I don't know like how far back it goes, but like something that needed to be locked up in order to like prevent its influence on anything. And I'm wondering if like it can also communicate through these worlds that like the king is accessing through, and if like maybe it's like influencing the king a little bit or like exerting some of its power that way. But I don't know specifically what it is. I just know
I
it's
was just
got bad
curious where you guys'
vibes.
train of thought
Like,
was going with it.
Yeah, see, the iron is another reason
yeah.
that I think Valg, just because it was pointed out during the multiple conversations about the witch lore that iron is like a witch protectant, basically.
Yeah. We're
And
getting
so,
so close to where I can start bringing up like ACOTAR stuff. So I'm excited.
I
Yeah.
figured we were heading in that direction because like every mention of the Fae, like I've triple read because I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
and like I already know the Crescent City connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I thought I was right, but I didn't want to say anything. That's why I asked you, because I wanted you to tell me if I was right or not, Kira.
Yeah.
Because then if I was wrong, I would be okay. But then, like, I would feel,
And there's more that you don't know yet because you haven't read 3. So
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
we'll get there.
I really didn't want to stop reading. Like, had we not had to record tonight, I wouldn't have stopped. I don't think.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so we ended with Kale getting
Getting
like,
taken.
yeah, kidnapped.
Chloroformed,
Wow.
basically. Chloroformed.
Yeah.
He got chloroformed.
Yeah. And
Oh, also, hold on. I do want to point out, Duke Parrington can go fucking rot.
yeah.
Yes.
We didn't say that earlier. That needs to be said. That needs to be like
Yeah.
notarized. And
Yeah.
Sarah,
Yeah.
girl, who hurt you?
Yeah.
Like somebody had to hurt you for you to put somebody like that. But I mean, like I get it. He's a sleazeball. That's a line.
Yeah.
That's a line. Okay. Anyways, yes, Kale gets chloroformed.
Yeah,
We
I
should have
think
stopped at 25.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's okay because you get to read now. You can get off here and read if you want to. But this
No,
next
Yeah.
part,
Go to hell in the morning, I
I
don't
feel
get
like
to
it's
read.
really gonna go like 0
to
to
bed.
100, and there's gonna be. I feel like we're all over the place this time, and next time there's gonna be just so much to talk about. So
Nice.
yeah, I'm excited. This one was just a lot of like build up and just
Yeah.
we're
I mean,
getting
and we're
there,
coming off of the Throne of Glass too, so it's like not only
Yeah.
is she having to kind of like answer some questions, she's also having to kind of build up like this story.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
there's a lot of interwoven things, and it's still such a
Yeah.
beautiful story. Like I can still see why it's still so highly revered,
Yeah.
even though she's got ACOTAR. Like I see why ACOTAR made her blow up again in a way, but like
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm glad I found her
You're
through
only
ACOTAR
like
though, and not through Throne of Glass, because the writing in this one compared like even Throne of Glass writing is a lot different than like ACOTAR writing. Like
Yeah.
first ACOTAR
Yeah.
writing for me. Like when everybody says this is her first series, I'm just like, wait, really? Because the first ACOTAR book reads like people are saying Throne of Glass reads. I didn't get that at all in Throne of Glass.
I think Akatar is just a little bit more palatable is the word that's coming to mind, but like not in a way that like Throne of Glass is hard. Throne of Glass just has like a lot of world building and a lot of background and a lot of like
Yeah.
all of this stuff like upfront work kind of thing, right? Whereas like Akatar didn't really feel that way to me. It kind of like jumps
you're
into
really
it right away, and you
thrown
kind of
into
get
it,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
well,
like
that's because it's taken from Beauty and the Beast. I actually got to read that, like the actual Beauty
Yeah.
and the Beast story. Like it's not the Disney Beauty and the Beast; it's the French
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast. So
yeah,
it's the same kind of way in the French Beauty and the Beast too. Like you kind of get
Yeah.
thrown into it, and then it kind of builds once you're there.
Yeah.
yeah,
And this is also giving us a whole world right off the bat, whereas with ACOTAR, you were kind of mainly the Spring Court.
Yeah.
Like you
yeah.
hear
So it
about
was segmented,
fishermen,
and you got to learn
Yeah.
about it. Yeah, like
but here
yep.
you're hearing like, oh, here's me. Also, we didn't talk about Holland being home.
Oh yeah.
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 How did that happen? Because literally last book they were like, yeah, he's never gonna let her bring him home, and then like apparently
Well,
shit's
it
getting
says
really
like
bad. I mean, I saw what it said, but
yeah.
I mean, I'm still like,
Yeah.
that's still such an odd
Also,
move for him, for somebody like Holland.
I picture Holland because of like his characterization, I picture him as Joffrey. So then when they
Yeah.
said that he had like
God.
black curly hair, and I was like, nope, no, I
No.
pictured blonde.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, no.
but I like highlighted
Like
it, and
the
I was like,
tantrums, the spoiledness, the
Reminds me so much of
entitlement,
Joffrey,
Yeah.
too.
and I'm just like,
yeah,
I really don't like it. Like I was talking about this in my creative writing class the other day because we talk about Game of Thrones a lot, just because Game of Thrones, as far as like writing and stuff goes,
yeah,
I mean, it's fiction made into like a screenplay, so it's like it's really good creative writing
Yeah.
topic. And my creative writing teacher's also just a nerd and he loves it. But like I told him, I was like, Joffrey is a character that I love to hate, and like no matter how many times I watch that part, like when he dies, like if you haven't seen Game of Thrones yet, like spoiler alert, it's fine, like cool. It's been out for years. It's on you at this point. Because this is a very notable thing. Every time Joffrey dies, I just get so happy because he's
I
such
guess
a jerk. It's so
satisfactory.
satisfying. It's so satisfying whenever Joffrey dies, and like seeing Cersei in like that moment, just because they are such terrible people. And I'm just like, yes, you're getting what you deserve. But then at the same time, I'm just like, oh my God, this is a child.
Yeah.
No,
This is a
he's
child.
awful. Yeah,
Like I am thinking this way about a child, and like here I am reading this book, and I'm just like, oh my God, this kid is awful, and I
Yeah.
kind of want something to happen to him. But then I'm just like, but Queen Georgina would be sad, and Dorian may not like him, but there's also like a really big age gap between him and Holland, so like that's part of it, and he would be really sad, and just like, no, okay, nothing can happen to Holland. That's how my thoughts go every time.
And even though Dorian like doesn't like Holland, he still has this like protective nature over him
Yeah, he
because
brought it up with the magic
when
thing.
when he's thinking about his magic, he's thinking about the fact that it's taken this long for it to manifest in him, and that he has maybe another 10 years before it manifests in Holland, and that he could train himself and like teach his brother how to like suppress it and stuff too if it happens to him. And that's just like, even though Holland is a little shit and like he can't stand him, that is still like just such a protective like sibling type thing.
Yeah.
You know?
And that kind of shows, like, I'm really glad we got to see the extent of Holland's spoiledness in this. He got a whole freaking carnival as a belated Yulmus present. Mm-hmm. Like, what in the world? It wasn't
know.
even that grand of a carnival, but there were like 5 black tents and like all these carriages and stuff. I'm just like, oh, okay, Dorian, that's not
Yeah.
grand? Like, what? Who
Yeah.
are you? Oh, you're a prince. That's who you are. Like, that makes sense.
yeah. Yeah.
But like, yeah, he's definitely been spoiled because she lost Dorian in a way because he's been being groomed to take over the throne. So Holland's
Yeah.
her little baby, so like I don't blame her. You know, like I'm doing the same
Yeah.
exact thing with Amaris. Like I'm over here like, you're my little baby, like I love you. Like I'm just gonna
Yeah.
like hold you and
Yeah.
love you and spoil you and like not let you squeal for very long. Like, no, you're my baby. I'm just gonna enjoy
Yeah.
you. And I'm gonna cry at every new thing that you do because it's the last first new for me. So
Yeah.
oh, I don't know. I'm so excited, and I wish I wasn't getting my kids back in the
I'm-
morning because
I'm
I want to stay up
so
and
so so excited for the next discussion. So
I'm so excited. I'm so ready to finish.
And just because I'm a glutton for punishment, with the beginning of this being hectic, and us planning on doing the tandem read, how hectic is that going to be?
Yeah.
I actually found I did like the tandem read last time. I found it went like really smooth. Like it's just like it lines up really well, the timeline and stuff, and it's just like this person's doing this person's doing this person's doing this, and this person's doing this for like a chunk, and you just kind of go like, because both books alternate. So like Tower of Dawn is alternating the whole time between like a couple different characters and like what they're up to, and it's the same with the Empire of Storms. It's kind of alternating between some characters and what they're up to. So whenever you mix it together, it's just like boop boop boop, you know, like so.
So it kind of
Yeah,
reads,
yeah,
it
follow
kind
more.
of reads the same way then, in a way,
yeah.
Yeah.
because it's kind of
And
like
I think
we'll
by
have these
then,
breaks where you have like Kale's like perspective of things, and then it'll have a break,
Yeah.
and then you'll get like Bohemia and Celaena, and then a break, and then Dorian, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just
So similar. Okay, that's good.
It flows really good. I was really impressed whenever I did it. So, yeah.
Okay, good.
and we'll have a better way of like tackling our discussions by then, hopefully.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. We really just operate off vibes and chaos, guys.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of our whole shtick, you
Yeah.
know?
Vibes and chaos. Like, two of us are moms,
Yeah.
and I'm in school on top of
I
being a
mean, it's
mom.
almost 4 a.m. for you guys right now. I mean,
I'm
It's
so
3:30.
tired.
I have to be
I'm
up
Yeah.
so
for work in like
tired.
3 hours.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Again, vibes and chaos and sometimes
Yes.
caffeine. Not
Yep.
that caffeine does anything
Yeah.
for me because ADHD and I'll fall right to sleep. So,
Yes. Yeah.
um, okay. Well, yeah, that was really chaotic, and there's really not a good stopping point when talking about this book because it's really hard to stop talking about it. Um, I told Kellen earlier, I was like, I really, really want her crap to get fixed because I told Slay when I was coming back here that I was gonna yell at her for making a stop at chapter 26. And I had to wait 2 hours. Well, not really 2 hours, like an hour and a half to yell at you about chapter 26 stopping point. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I. Yeah.
So much happens. It's kind of like the beginning of Throne of Glass too, like where so much stuff happens that it's really hard to
Mm-hmm.
like formulate coherent thoughts about it because you're just like, oh this, oh but this, oh but this. It's like all
Yeah.
new shiny things.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully next time will be a little bit more put together, but probably not. Don't count on it. We'll try, but no promises. Because again, I'm a mom of four, primary parent because my husband works. Um, I'm in school, and just yeah.
Life's busy, guys.
I
That's
know. And we're also trying to coordinate this in three different places across two time zones. So
Yeah.
yep.
This is true.
obviously it's 3:28 here, so it's 2:30 for you.
Yep.
Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And also I live in Arkansas and there was lots of bad storms. So I'm just
Yeah.
super
Yep.
not
We
here
did our
today.
best, and that's all you can do.
Why am I just now getting a flood warning? What? Why am I getting a flood warning at 3:30 in the morning? Is it still raining? What? River flood warning until Wednesday at 5:48 if that tells you anything about how much it's rained in the past 24 hours
Ooh.
alone.
Yeah.
Till Wednesday. Okay. On that note, thanks for tuning in. Again, chaotic, just vibes. That's how we operate. It is what it is. We can't help it. Um, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So we hope you guys have fun and enjoy our craziness.
Bye.
Bye.